Okay, so some guidance here on the homework task. So on page 6, again, if you don't have your booklet, you don't have to do this on the booklet page. You could just do it on a blank piece of paper and just use the file that's on Teams. But it says in the space below, sketch 2 different ideas for a design and technology workshop sign in the same style as figure 1. So this is figure 1. So it's got to be a D&T sign. Could warn pupils of a potential hazard. So depending on where you've been on the carousel, might depend on what knowledge you've got of design technology workshop signs. So it could be something warning somebody in food, textiles, electronics, product design, even CAD and graphics as well, although they're not as hazardous as some of the other areas. So if it's a hazard, it's always a triangle. The circles normally are prohibitive signs, things you cannot do, and things you should do, which are mandatory signs. So we're dealing with a triangle. So we're just looking for 2 quick sketches. You can put the border on if you want to. So we want 2 ideas or different ideas. So for instance, it could be food technology. You're looking at hazards to do with things that are sharp, like knives. Could be a slip hazard if there's water on the floor. It could be a hot surface, the oven. So some of these are potential hazards. So you've got to think carefully about what the pictogram is going to be on the inside. So if it was a slip hazard, this already exists. So we want to try and be imaginative, but we could draw a little stick man here, and we could kind of put his arms out here on the side. Maybe they're waving around, and we could have maybe some like water sections. Maybe his foot goes up like that. So it's just an idea to begin with. On the other side over here, let's say it was in electronics, it might be something to do with the soldering irons. You might say, well, I'm going to draw a solder iron on the side here, and we could do the cable, and we could suggest maybe there's a heat line coming off here to suggest it's a hot surface. Now the bit that's going to take you the time is the right hand side. So we want here, use your best idea from over here, which one do you like best? And we're going to do a presentation drawing. So there's some criteria down at the bottom, so we don't want to put any text in. I should be able to try and understand what it is. We want to accurately draw a triangle, trying to use all that square. We want a black border, black image, and a yellow background. If you don't have a black pencil crayon, just use your pencil. If you don't have a yellow, then you could annotate to say where the yellow would be. So with my ruler, I'm going to draw an equilateral triangle. So I'm going to halve that at 4.5. I'm going to draw a line down to the corner, one down to this corner. I want to put a neat border around the edge, so I'm trying to keep it parallel with the line I've just done. If I look at figure 1, the CCTV camera on the side, it's got little rounded corners here and here and here. And we want to then draw. So let's say the soldering iron was my best idea. I'm going to change it ever so slightly. I'm going to put, let's say, the soldering iron upright like this. And then this is going to be the handle. I'm going to put little cutouts where your hand can go. This could be where the cable goes. There's the cable. This could be like a little button on the side. But again, I want that heat vapors coming up the side. I might even put like a grip section on here. And when I come to colour it, I'm just going to use a black pencil crayon. I'm going to use my ruler as a support to try and make sure I don't go outside the edges. And then I can shade on the inside. So I'm trying to make sure there's no white gaps in those areas. So around the corner like that. Try not to do this. We don't want like a scribble outside of the edges. When I come to do the little pictogram on the inside, again, I'm trying to do it neat. I'm using my ruler because it's got these straight edges to try and shade those or block colour them in. If you've got any detail on here, let's say that little button there, I'll have to leave that. And then it can't be white. I'm going to have to make that yellow as well. So it's sometimes a better idea to do the yellow first and then do the black afterwards, because it could smudge. And if I take my yellow, so in this area here, this would be a block colour, so you can see it smudging a little bit in those areas. There we go. Try not to move your hand across it because you could end up smudging it further. And then we're trying to avoid a scribble on here, so we're trying to block colour that in and neat finish if we possibly can. So we've just gone through, we've come up with 2 ideas, and then we've got our neat presentation drawing from our best idea that goes on the right. So that's homework 1.